And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood, and it's so great to be back with you all. And I told you there at the little opening that we had some people here from the Philippines, and that was really, really exciting. And this is Mark and Marilyn Morris. And Marilyn says her name a whole lot prettier than I do, so say it for them.
Marilyn.
See, isn't that prettier than I said it with the East Tennessee accent? But they are with Samaritan's Place, and they do serve in the Philippines. And I had Mark on with me a couple of years ago when we had the other show I did, and he told us a little bit about what they do. And I wanted them to come back. They're just going to be here for about another week, and then they're going to go back home to the Philippines. And so I wanted them to come on and talk to us because we have a lot of Cleveland involvement in their ministry over there. And so I'm just going to turn it over to you all. Just tell us everything we need to know about Samaritan's Place.
Nancy, well, thank you for letting us be here.
Well, thank you for saying you would come.
It's great to see you again.
Good to see you.
Through time, I changed a little bit. You have changed a bit since the last time we
You're
were
such
together.
A sweetheart.
So you're looking great. And of course, to be here in this snow is quite a treat for us. It never snows in the Philippines.
I wouldn't think
but,
so.
It is a great joy and privilege to be here with you on Nancy's Neighborhood.
Thank you. And I know your parents are thrilled y'all are here.
Well, it's been great to get to be with them as well. But a little bit about our work. We the Philippines, we've been there actually January. It's been 30 years that I have been living there and serving there as our focus. And of course, Marilyn's from there. She's been there longer than 30 years. Although she's
just a year or two longer than 30
29
years.
years old
there
looking,
you go.
but
there you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, but basically, 20 years ago, basically, almost, we organized Samaritan's Place, which is an NGO, a non-government organization, and we are licensed in 4 areas with the Department of Social Welfare there. Those 4 areas are residential care for orphaned, abandoned kids, and then foster care for orphan kids. And then we are licensed to do development work with underprivileged kids that are in the community.
Nice.
And then last, we are licensed to do international liaison adoptions. So basically, we work with agencies overseas. Here in East Tennessee, we've worked with Holston Homes before. Right now, our partner is Christian Adoption Services out of North Carolina. And so we work with them in getting children placed. Some of them might be from Samaritan's Place, but really most of them are from other agencies in the Philippines. So we can help children that are orphaned from all over the country in the Philippines through adoption.
All right, now when you say that you have some that are residential, roughly how many children do you have that are residential?
Right now there's 25 children.
Okay.
And our model's a little different. We built some duplex homes in a subdivision, and so these are homes in which Filipino married couples with their biological kids live in the homes, and then these children that are wards of the state that are placed with Samaritan's Place, they stay in those family-style homes. So the kids, their experience is like living in a normal family. So it's almost like sponsored foster families, but that is what the institution is doing.
That's wonderful, because a lot of times when you talk about something like that, people visualize a building,
Right.
Yes.
like from Little Orphan Annie, the orphanage type thing.
Right.
And so that's not what you all have.
No,
You
that's
have
right.
residential housing for these children, which is
exactly right.
wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, in picking your foster families, do they volunteer? Do you go out and recruit? What do you do?
I'll let her answer.
Okay.
For foster families, we have to recruit. And then they go through a seminar, and then the government approves them as foster families.
Okay, so the government then has to approve them
Yes.
for them to do that.
Yes, they do.
All right, so roughly how many foster families do you have?
Well, right now we're still building actually the program. It's a new program for us, so we're just starting that actually right now.
That sounds awesome. It really does.
It is an exciting program for us. It's not easy because it's something new, but it is a push that the Department of Social Welfare is doing in the Philippines. They want to grow the foster family and the foster family program in the Philippines.
And that's so wonderful too, because oftentimes your foster families will adopt the children
true.
that they're fostering,
That's right. And
which
so
makes it wonderful.
last year, in the history of children being placed with forever families, that's what we
Yes.
call it. Last year was the first year that domestic adoption actually exceeded international adoption. So we're excited about that trend. But obviously, right now, there's probably close to 20,000 children who are in institutions, and probably 2,500 to 3,000 kids are waiting for placement even internationally. So there's still a real need internationally for people to be
Wow.
willing to adopt. But back to the parents,
Yes.
the ones that live at Samaritan's Place, they actually come and they do a week or a few days trial basis with us, and then they undergo training that they get from the staff and Mighty Lynn. And so right now we've got one family, they've been there for 10 years actually,
Wow.
that have served at Samaritan's Place, and they are working for Samaritan's Place. And then the other couple has been there for 2 years. So anybody who's been involved with residential care, they will know that those kind of terms, meaning 10 years or even more than a year, is amazing because
Totally
there's
amazing, yes.
usually a high turnover.
Yes.
But it's a beautiful setting, new homes. It's great for their family. And of course, their living and all is taken care of there. And so they work for the agency. And it's a great thing for them. And it's obviously a great thing for the orphan kids to have
Absolutely.
parents who are with them.
And a
throughout their
home type
tenure.
environment.
And a home type.
Nancy, I wanted to share that home and the family because it's so important. The kids have lost the concept of the family.
Right.
But I wanted to share how we got that idea, and it was through Mark's grandmother. His grandmother was an orphan, and we
Right here in Cleveland.
right here in
I'll be
Cleveland.
darned. Back
in the
Yes,
early 1900s.
mom's mom. And so we interviewed her one afternoon. I had the camera, and Mark was interviewing her. And Mark asked her, if there was anything that you would change in the orphanage that you were in, what would it be? And she said, it's different that I'm already 84 during that time, 84 years old. She said, but I wish I had a mother and a father. She said, so if ever you build an orphanage, make sure that there really is a mother and a father.
Now,
And
isn't
that's
that
what-
awesome?
It is awesome. And it's where we got the concept of hiring a couple and letting them move into the facility with their biological children. And then they take care and reestablish what a real family is for these children that have lost that concept.
And that's great.
And,
It is.
of course, the setting, it is really good quality. Our view is this: if our own children had been orphaned, what kind of experience would we want them to have, and where would they stay? We would want them to be in a good place with
Right.
good people.
Right.
So it's really first quality. It's a place that even children
Yes.
here, I wouldn't have any trouble having any child in America stay at Samaritan's Place. But, I suppose in one sense it mirrors a model that we had seen before as well, the Chick-fil-A group.
Yes.
They have the wind-shaped homes. In fact, even here in Cleveland, Tennessee, I think they've got a couple they've had before. And but it's that kind of model where children can be in a quality setting with quality people and grow up being nurtured and loved in the way they should be.
I think that's awesome. I think you sent us some clips
Yes.
and I'm not sure what they're from because I've not seen them, but I'm going to get Bryce to flip them up on the screen for us
Sure.
now.
You want to describe what's happening?
And you can describe what happens, and here we go.
Okay, well, this is coming down from the front side of the multi-purpose home. We call it Unit 5, but it's a guest house there at Samaritan's Place. So when we have adoptive families that come, they would be staying in this unit to also have bonding time with the children
Beautiful
that they
facility.
adopt.
And Mark designed it.
Oh,
So
how
this
neat.
is a little thing, and then these are some of the infants that have been in the infant unit. We have 2 home units that are for family style, and then we have the 1 infant unit, and then of course feeding the kids is always a joy. And this little guy, I think it's okay to say, he actually was adopted by a family in Europe.
In Europe.
Oh.
And
Yes,
so we've got children who have been adopted into America, into Europe, into Australia, many, many different different countries. In fact, every kid,
Good eaters.
Yes,
all of
they
these kids that
are.
you're seeing right now have already been placed with their forever families.
That's wonderful.
But if you go to Samaritan's Place today, all those seats are filled again.
That's right.
So
Golly.
some other beautiful little babies there that
And we
we
do-
get to serve.
Yeah, and we do have wonderful staff. You know, this is also a ministry for them. So they really pour out their heart and their love and their care on these children.
That is so cute.
Yeah. Every child is held and embraced and told
Wonderful.
that they are worth and really loved.
You know, on that video with them feeding, actually, a lot of people are surprised. Usually, by the time they are 10 months, or even definitely by a year, they're already feeding themselves.
Feeding themselves.
So it's amazing how these kids are nurtured to be trained to really care for themselves.
Oh, look
Of course,
at that
there was
little
a little
sweetheart.
play area there that you just saw a few minutes ago, and these are some scenes of different ones that have been adopted. In fact, that little baby right there, she was named after my grandmother, Margaret. And she's been adopted by a beautiful family here in America.
Here in America.
That is
So,
wonderful.
So
Now,
good
you and I
place.
talked before we actually went on the air, because a lot of people from Cleveland come visit you.
That's right.
Now,
Yeah.
they don't just come and visit. You put them to work
No.
when they get there.
Yes.
But what is it that these people do?
Well, that's part of our model. When they come, it's a beautiful setting and it's a good place to stay, clean place, and good bedrooms and hot and cold showers and air conditioning. So they stay
Nice
in comfortable
weather.
setting, good weather. But they do get to work hard for us. We just had a group from First Baptist here in Cleveland. They usually do our annual Christmas trip, where they come over, and we had this year Tanya Mazzolini and her husband came, Dr. Mazzolini, along with Wes and Becky Callahan, who are the premium Mr. and Mrs. Santa. I tell you, if you see them wear their clothes, but
Yes.
they did a special things for children at Samaritan's Place in the community, as well as in the cities themselves, visiting malls and stuff. So they do a Christmas trip. We do have Lee University partners coming this year. We have the Lee University Symphonic Orchestra
Oh, wow.
under Dr.
All
Bailey
50 plus
is
of
going to
them.
be coming this next June. And then also the Health, Exercise, Science, and Secondary Education Department. Dr. Mike Iosia and his wife Kim, along with Dr. Taz Kicklighter. They've been coordinating an annual thing where they bring students over for training, and also they get school credit here, but they do projects, do a sports fest for us. It's almost like a mini
How
sports
neat.
Yes,
Olympics.
2 days.
Yeah, so they do that, and then of course we have volunteer teams that come from other parts, like in Japan. We have partnership with Ayama University, as well as out of Korea, Seoul, Korea, a high school there called Yongsan International School of Seoul. But anyway, people come from all over, and they come and visit the orphanage. They play with the kids. They are around the kids. They do, what they call it, VBS, things like
Vacation
that.
Bible
Vacation
School.
Bible
They
School,
do those
yes.
kind of things. But really, Nancy, what is important for us as well, you know, children, as they meet these people and have a little bit of time with them, and it has a recurring thing with them, even playtime becomes a part of their development for the future.
The
To
social
trust people,
skills.
the
Yes.
social skills, to be ready to be placed with a forever family. And it does make an incredible difference in preparing the kids for their permanent families.
I have a real good friend, Amy Foss, that came
Yeah,
over.
sure.
I think she wanted to bring about 15
Oh,
home
yes.
with her. And she actually did get here and talk to Coleman about, and he said, oh, gosh, you know. But anyway, she would go back in a flat minute. You know,
Yes.
she
Sure.
just loved it.
Yes.
She had such a wonderful experience over there. So, and I think that's so wonderful for people. You can call it a vacation if you want to, because going to the Philippines would be, it's beautiful over
Yes,
there, and the weather's great, and you're not going to have snow,
No.
even in January.
That's right.
But it's such a wonderful ministry that you all do.
Thank you.
And I know when I was on the board at Holston, we worked with you all some,
That's right.
because we have some people here in Cleveland actually who adopted through Holston, through
right.
you all.
right.
And so that is really, really great. So if anyone's interested, how do they contact you?
Well, probably the quickest and easiest way, they could visit our website,
Okay.
which would be friendsofsp.com, so
Okay.
www.friendsofsp.com, and there they could find the email addresses that they could send us an email. That'd be the fastest and
Yes.
easiest way.
Right, because the telephone number is really strange, folks.
Yeah.
And now there is a local number. You could call Max, and he can tell you how to get a hold of him.
That's right.
But because I think all of you know Max Morris and the wonderful ministry he does here, so you just follow right in Dad's footsteps,
Well,
aren't you?
I've always said if I could even just be sawdust, I'll be happy. I can't even claim to be a chip. I wish I could be
no,
a chip
no.
off the block,
No,
but
no.
no, seriously,
No,
it's
no, no. I
no,
just
we're very blessed to have
what
great
you all do
family.
is just so wonderful.
Thank
And I'm
you,
so
Nancy.
thrilled that we were able to work it in because y'all are leaving next week
That's right.
Yes,
to go
ma'am.
back.
Yes.
And what kind of, like, it's not just a 2-hour flight. What is it?
No, it's like 20,
Well, that's to
door
Chicago
door,
part,
yeah.
but
Door to door, it's more than 24 hours. Yes.
yeah, but thankfully
I
it's
just
getting a lot
dropped my
easier.
microphone.
Yeah.
It's getting a lot faster and easier, and thankfully we're able to sleep on planes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Very
that
good.
helps a
Yes,
lot.
So what's the time difference over there?
Right
now,
now,
it's
13.
13 hours difference. They're 13 hours ahead of us, but in the springtime, when we spring forward here in Tennessee, then they will be 12 hours ahead.
Okay. Thank you all so much
Thank
for being
you
with
so
me.
much.
I really,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Left me
Thank
some
you.
literature, so if anybody's interested, you can contact me if you don't contact Max, okay? So thank you all so much.
Thank
Safe
you.
trip back
Thank
and
you.
wonderful ministry, and I thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for being with me.
We're so
Folks,
honored.
don't go away. We're going to be right back to talk about planting a garden.